Alec, welcome back to the Black Mirror. All right. Well,
Hey,
it's time for our
we're going.
regularly scheduled wrap up. We if you're new
Yep.
to the channel, big Black Mirror fan, been taking Alec along through each episode for the first time, and we just finished season 4. So there's a playlist with all of our reactions and discussions for each episode. You can watch us watching them for the first time, well, him for the first time, me for the second time, and discussing them afterwards. And then after each season, we do a little review, which is harder than other TV seasons because it is an anthology series. So there's not necessarily that through line. So it's hard to juggle, especially
Right.
with like early seasons. It was like 3 episodes, 4 episodes. Two good, one bad. It's like how do you score that or rate that? And now we got 6 episodes. All right, and from our own
Mm,
account, we have two of the best and four on the lower end, right?
yeah,
So perhaps the most contentious of the Black Mirror seasons so far. Would you say so?
I would easily say so. I'd say the quality is definitely starting to take a significant dip in terms of, um, I guess, in terms of just general writing, general again, appreciating the experimentation of something like Metalhead. But like, there's just some weird, strange decisions being made in terms of like Arkangel is just like a not really a great episode. I mean, I didn't Black Museum, even in and of itself is sort of like kind of just there. I mean, I get where it's sort of like tying all these ideas and the concepts from different Black Mirror episodes together. It's kind of fun for that, but like the the overall through plot is not the best. But
Mm-hmm.
there's still bright spots. There's still every for even though there's a lot more of those this time, and I would say that's why I say the quality is still like overall is like a lot shakier. You still have then something like USS Callister, which speaks to me very specifically. I feel
Mm-hmm.
as a Star Trek fan, I thought that was great. And then Hang the DJ, I think I may have rated it a little on the low side, actually, because I think that episode is brilliant. I think through more reflection, I don't put it quite up at the top with you, but it's definitely up higher than I think where even I put it. So, um,
Okay.
but
I would say, you know,
just a lot spottier.
on a technical side, I think it's still really good. Production wise, like maybe it's better than ever because I think the
Mm,
technology looks really good. I think every episode looks really good. The camera work is generally really good. I think all
yeah,
around on the technical standpoint, it's solid. But
Metalhead is extremely cinematic.
mm-hmm.
I would say Black Museum itself is also really well. Most, I guess, all episodes except for Archangel actually are all feel very cinematic. I guess there's a I agree. I think they all look polished, very slick or stylized, depending on what they're going for. And I think they do a really good job with that.
Like the
So
technology,
yeah, I
little
definitely agree with you on
technology
that.
elements, they look good. They look believable. Like when you bring in that
Mm,
retro style, uh, retro looking technology from Crocodile, like I think that
yeah,
looks
I love
cool.
that. Yeah.
And I mean, even in Metalhead, like the freaking dogs look really good to me. And even when you get
Mm,
freaking you shoot it up, point blank, and you just see the freaking shattering, I think the stuff looks really good. It's just
mm,
obviously,
yeah.
the biggest factor of Black Mirror is the concept and like the what kind of discussion can come out of it and how it can make you think about how this technology could have an effect on the world. There's just
Yeah.
not as much in this season for me compared to the previous seasons, I think.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's saying I
Yeah,
really
definitely not.
enjoyed Black Museum the first time I watched it, and this time around I definitely saw like okay, it's not as effective. I think it just kind of was riding the hype of like seeing all the references. I thought it was so cool, especially like at the time, seeing
Yeah.
it in the moment. And but like in retrospect, it's not as good. Like just it's just a dump of a bunch of references, and then it's an attempt at the White Christmas format, just not as refined, and like we said, some of the performances weren't quite there for us, and there's cool ideas there with like how they implemented technology and some of the story elements, but just not quite there.
Yeah, it's like all the sort of story elements in that one are like it's as if like the devil is tempting you with a technology he's promising is a certain way, but only for it ultimately to not live up to the standard at which he's selling it to you as, kind of thing. Which is interesting. I think that's an interesting sort of concept, but I think that the execution is just not quite there, unfortunately. So
yeah, I mean, if you take Rolo Haynes versus what was it, Matt Trent in White Christmas, both as like the leading, how like the main person hosting or narrating what happened and being in the driver's seat, like Matt as a character is much more effective. I think it's just like. I mean, it's John Hamm, and it's also the fact that this person's not like completely sleazy and like not straight up the devil character, like out there to ruin everybody's lives. Like he has this business which is unethical clearly to us with the cookie and everything, and then like obviously having people spy on him as he's doing this like dating coaching thing is not necessarily morally sound or ethical, but also it's just like you can see there's more of a gray area there. He's not like the worst person in the world, but also even like our biggest criticism of that episode was that like he got too much of a punishment for what he did. Whereas like for me, Rolo Haynes is like you're just not sympathetic to him at all. He's just taking advantage of people at every turn. And he's
I kind of came around to you. I kind of came around to your way of thinking by the end. But I feel like you meant in comparison, Matt Haynes didn't deserve it, whereas Rolo.
Matt Trent
definitely did
deserve it. Rolo definitely.
Matt Trent didn't. Yeah, John Hamm didn't. Yeah,
didn't deserve the punishment he got.
He deserved something. Oh yeah. Ultimately, it was just kind of like it was just sort of okay, and I think that's like to me is almost worse than it being bad. Like Waldo moment, we remember. We will always remember, right? And it's like kind of like a lower, goofier quality Black Mirror, but like a lot of these like Arkangel is just kind of like okay, and sort of there, just kind of there.
Metalhead is just kind of there, It's, I mean, I'll remember them, I guess, but not.
Yeah. Now that we've talked about them, we've recorded our thoughts about them. They're a little bit more memorable to us there, but like they're not ones that I ever really want to watch again.
Right. But Hang the DJ is complete opposite for me. It's an absolute treat. I think. I was telling my girlfriend, like, she's never seen the show. I don't necessarily know if she would enjoy it overall, but I'm like, that episode for sure is one I want to show her, just by itself. I think it's, I mean, that's the beauty of Black Mirror is that you can take any episode out of it and you don't lose anything from it. You could show people whatever episode you want.
Right.
This one stands on its own, I think, is like, you don't have to be all in like national anthem, like just accepting this freaking like twisted, hard to watch story at times. It's like you get an element of technology, but it's mostly driven by it's like a love story.
Yeah, for sure.
And really well done at that.
I agree.
The last main one is USS Callister. We touched on a little bit, but I think that one's really, really solid with Jesse Plemons as the lead. Really effective.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons is like really nailed it. He as like because I like how it just plays with your expectations at the beginning, and you find out he's like kind of a sinister dude by maybe about a third, like maybe the end of the first act is when you sort of start to realize like just how messed up this guy really is. It's really interesting. I like that episode a lot. Obviously, it's allusions to classic Star Trek stuff that I really appreciate, but I think overall it's the acting performances, the just general story, and of how these like the clones basically are have to like rebel, and it's just really, really great, really cool. And I like how the whole story plays out. Is really interesting. So
yeah, there's a cool dynamic to it. It's almost like the backstory. It's a backstory where you're not sympathetic towards him. Like it's like, okay, you feel bad. He's they're talking to him this way, but obviously what he does is unjustifiable. It's almost like the origin story of a villain kind of thing, a
Yeah.
villain that he makes himself in this artificial world, but with
Yeah.
real true copies of consciousnesses. And
Yeah. Just like, that's pretty rough, man.
it's an
It's
interesting
like,
thing. You don't get this, like, outside of Black Mirror, I don't see it explored, like that kind of, you have full control of this world, and it's not like you just cloned someone. It's like you're straight up taking that consciousness and planting it as if you just took them straight from the office. As far as they know, that's who they are.
right.
So it's like a whole other layer of ethical and or moral problems.
Which is in and of itself is like almost a fascinating commentary on the transporter technology in general, because if you know anything about the transporter in Star Trek, is that what happens is that the way that technology works is that your body and your entire being is uploaded onto a computer, and then it's like you're basically cloned. All your data is uploaded onto a computer and then reprogrammed out onto another place. So it's almost like you. So there is actually like some. It doesn't come up like super often, but like there are some like transporter accident episodes of like Star Trek: The Next Generation. I feel like it does come up in at least one of the series where people are against the transporter because it's like a moral, like an ethical problem that they have with it.
It's
So
interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
It's almost like a deep dive into that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's exploring the true dark side of that kind of technology.
yeah.
And then,
So
as much as we like kind of downplay Crocodile, I do think even when we were watching the episode, there's a lot of stuff we really liked about how things were filmed, especially in that episode.
yeah, I think I think that's the one that like felt like, I think that was something that I really appreciated about Hated in the Nation too. It's like I would compare those pretty similarly, where they feel like they're like mystery plots that just they're really well constructed, and it's interesting, that one, because we are following the villain again. I think to me, my initial reaction to it was just like, this is like the third one in a row where we're following like the villain, sort of like Arkangel is not, she's technically not supposed to be the villain.
But I think it's effective in the sense it's not like, as much as we thought it was laughable that like Arkangel is supposed to be sympathetic to helicopter parenting or whatever, that obviously was way off base. This one, it's like you're clearly not supposed to be sympathetic towards this woman, right? It's like you're just watching a woman just go further and further down this dark path, and it's unjustifiable at every turn, pretty much. But it's just kind of like it's hard to watch, but it's super effective in that Black Mirror way at times.
Yeah, sort of like causes a visceral reaction. I mean, I think to me, it's the scariest part about that one is that like she just seems like she's a normal woman that just made a couple of bad decisions and this more or less spiraled to the point where she can't even like. She's basically just committed to being this way now, like going down this path, and it's like, to me, it's like I mean, you think about like the Joker's all it takes is one bad day, that sort of speech.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of like this. That's sort of the scary, sobering thought about that one, is that just a few mistakes can sometimes just like completely like affect the rest of your life. But so like that to me is the interesting angle of that episode. I don't always like the completely bleak ones, and that one was like super bleak, especially at the end where it was like, oh boy.
That was really effective though, where the fact she goes to like her child's play and they're like singing all cheerfully.
Yeah, that's it. The
the
juxtaposition there is
reflected
awesome.
it too. It's
Yeah.
But I would say if it was gonna, I mean, we already have them ranked with all the episodes, but out of this season alone, would be definitely Hang the DJ, USS Callister, Crocodile, Black Museum, Arkangel, and Metalhead for me.
Yeah. I think I still have USS Callister just above Hang the DJ, for me personally, but it's that's a sort of toss up. Those, like, to me, depending on the day, I could probably go either way. I'm in a very Star Trek like positive mood right now because Picard season 3 was the best thing that's happened to Star Trek since
Wow.
like the 90s. So
Paramount Plus, right? Shout out
Paramount
to
Plus, yeah.
them.
Yeah. Picard season 1 and 2 are horrendous and should
Wow.
be
Yeah.
burned from the face of the earth. But season 3 was like one of the best things that they've ever Star Trek's ever. Some of
Wow.
the best Star Trek has ever been. Um, I never thought I would say that in the year of our Lord 2023. So I'm kind of riding that Star Trek high at the moment. But on another day, Hang the DJ, absolutely. Those are very much a toss up. And then I'm exactly the same way with you with the rest of the list.
Yeah. So well, that's interesting. You were saying maybe you would rank it higher than you were saying before, Hang the DJ, but
Yeah,
you can't. You can't because USS Callister is above it unless you're bringing
it
them both
is.
up.
I
Would
might
you
bring them
change
both up.
anything?
Yeah.
Would you change anything about your rankings right now? So your rankings overall are Playtest, White Christmas, Entire History of You, Nosedive, USS Callister, Hang the DJ, San Junipero, 15 Million Merits, Be Right Back, Hated in the Nation, Shut Up and Dance, Crocodile, Black Museum, White Bear, The National Anthem, Men Against Fire, Archangel, Metalhead, Wallow Moment.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put Metalhead below the Waldo moment.
Ooh, tell
Um, I think I'm gonna throw both USS Callister and Hang the DJ above Nosedive. That's how much I enjoyed them.
'em. Okay.
So
And I mean, I love Nosedive. It's funny
me
because
too. Yeah.
yeah, 70%, at least 70% of Black Mirror episodes that I love for one reason or another. Shut Up
Mm.
and Dance, which has kind of been pushed down our lists pretty significantly comparatively.
Yeah.
I still really love a lot of parts of that episode, and
Yeah. Same. Actually, I think the I would say the black comedy of that one works the best.
mhm.
Because Charlie Brooker does definitely have a dark sense of humor that shows up in a lot of the writing of these. I think that one has some of the best payoffs of that sort of dark, because that episode in particular is really like, I mean, that episode's rough. It's a real dark, real bleak. But I think that one has some of like when him and when they're like in that car with the woman, and the woman just keeps like talking about like, oh, we'll drop you off at this place, and
Yeah.
they're just trying to like get at. It's just like such great like uncomfortable moments like that.
Yeah, just tense at all times, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Troll Face.
So,
So
oh yeah, the troll face shows up in that. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think I would keep mine the same for now. It'd be Hang the DJ, Playtest, White Christmas, Entire History of You, San Junipero, 15 Million Merits, USS Callister, Nosedive, Shut Up and Dance, Be Right Back, Hated in the Nation, Crocodile, White Bear, Black Museum, National Anthem, Men Against Fire, Archangel, Waldo Moment, Metalhead.
yeah,
Right? And even Waldo Moment all the way down there.
yeah.
We still quote Waldo Moment. I
It
mean,
was just.
Mr.
I mean,
Monroe.
hey Monroe, hey. It's like that's one of those things where it's kind of so silly and ridiculous, and it is memorable. It was memorable for not being very good, but we were still memorable. Whereas Metalhead is just like A minus for effort, I guess,
Yeah.
but not a whole lot else in that one. So
It's purely like it's like a tech demo of filming.
yeah,
It's like, oh, this is nice
yeah.
to
No,
look at. Look at
honestly,
this black and white aesthetic and
yeah,
the direction and these futuristic dogs,
yeah,
and the music, like Alfred Hitchcock.
yeah. The limited music. Yeah, yeah.
So, season 4 Black Mirror. What score did we give it out of 10? Let's look back briefly at what we ranked the last 3 seasons. Season 3 we gave 9s, both of us. Season 2 we gave 8.5s. And season 1 I gave an 8.5 and you gave an 8. So 8.25 first season, 8.5 the second season, and 9 for the third season. Interesting.
The season's getting like a 7, I think, for me.
7.
Yeah, I even though it's got those two episodes and those two episodes are phenomenal and I love them,
Hmm.
it's just the rest of everything just it's feeling fatigued, and I don't like that direction in which it's going. I mean, maybe I will say I know there's an episode. I don't know what it's really about
Hmm.
that's coming in the next season, and I do know that people talk about it as hating this episode.
It's hated
Um,
across the nation.
I hated in the nation for sure, and I know nothing about it. All I know is that Miley Cyrus is in it, and people really hate it. That's all I know. That's in fact that is the most I knew about Black Mirror before we
Yeah.
started watching this. That is all I knew about it. I was like, I know there's an episode somewhere with Miley Cyrus in it, and everyone hates that episode. That's like all I knew
Yeah.
about the show, pretty
I
much.
mean,
And
we'll
then it
give
was
it a
like a
fair
horror.
shake.
Sure,
Uh,
I will. That's that. I don't want to poison the perception, my perception
yeah.
with that because I don't know. I mean, I've seen some stinkers in here from earlier season,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I don't know. And people generally, other opinions I've heard are people will say the first two seasons are great, and then everything after that, the Netflix. When Netflix got a hold of it, it started sucking, and I was like, I can't say that because season three was like probably my favorite season so far. So like as just as a whole,
Right, we were on an upward trajectory up
yeah.
until now. So, yeah, season 5. All right. Well, first of all, I'll give it a 7.5. I think
Okay.
I think the episodes are enough because even if I look at um down to Crocodile, Black Museum as elements I really like about it and are really
Yeah. I
effective, and our main character I think is really effective. But
Yeah, Letitia Wright is great. I mean, you can't take that away from her. She's great. So
and I do
I
love
yeah
elements of Crocodile and whatnot, and then Hang the DJ and USS Callister is so great. Hang the DJ
yeah
is just very special to me. I think it's enough
yeah.
to put it that high at least.
I agree that there's a lot to like. I just I'm feeling like there's sort of a fatigue in terms of like the general like imagination almost of it. Like
Mhm.
so like it's just like it's feeling more like that's where I was like I was almost like every time we were like, all right, Alec, what'd you think? And I just sort of sigh and said it was okay.
Mhm.
Like that to me is almost more damning than if it was bad, you know. So it was like
Yeah.
that's sort of like that's kind of where I feel why I'm feeling like a 7, because even though there's two episodes that are great, there's elements of the other ones that I like. It just isn't quite hitting the high notes of the previous seasons, and to the point where it's a little deflating, unfortunately. But
Yeah. I get that.
we'll see if it turns it around for me. Maybe a little bit next season.
I
I'm
get
hoping
that.
so.
And so it's the Tarqaron score is 7.25, which is wow. I mean, what a way to go. 8.25,
Yeah,
8.5, 9, 7.25. I mean, yeah. It's tough. It's tough. Black Mirror, again, the thing is, it's an anthology. Every episode, you never
it's
know what you're going to
yeah,
get. It's not like
yeah,
the last episode was bad, so necessarily this episode is going to be bad. So that's the nice,
yeah.
that's the liberating part of it, at least. It's not like, oh,
There
I'm
is a
dreading the
little bit of
next episode now.
yeah. There's a little bit of the beauty to it being an anthology series. I think. Yeah. So
But
it
season
could be
five,
like we saw with
season
everything.
five is only 3 episodes, so it's so back to the season 1 3 episode format here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So we'll see. Maybe that'll help a little bit.
we'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. I mean, I said what I thought about the Miley Cyrus episode. I've told you before.
Yeah.
Like, at least that's the only thing I would say is I didn't like that episode. So it's out there, but we'll give it another shake. I have my thoughts on it, and then the first 2 episodes are something else. So I'm not gonna say anything one way or another. But we
Yeah.
got that, and like we were talking about before, they did announce season 6 coming out in June. All right, so that'll be interesting. We'll have to see what it's gonna be exactly to decide what we're gonna do. If it's like a 10 episode season, we might have to break that up. It might be a little long to do in a row.
Yeah, I don't know if they've announced the amount of episodes that are
They haven't.
that the series is ordered for. I don't know if it's going back to 3 or if it's gonna be like 4 or 5. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Based on the
So,
trailer, it seems like it's probably more than 3 at least.
mm,
I would guess 6, but I mean I don't know if they're just going all out like 10, but because it's been such a break from Black Mirror. We weren't sure if we were going to get it again. I didn't think we were. I thought it was like dead in the water from like the whole like copyright stuff they had going on, or rights negotiations and whatnot. But we got it, so we'll have to see what's. I was gonna say, if we weren't doing Harry Potter and already had so much on our plate, I would almost have said, let's do season 5 simultaneously, just to get. There's only 3 episodes, like, as we're doing Survivor, and then be able to go into season 6 sooner. But it's just too much on our plate right now.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I actually probably would have agreed with you. But yeah, we're in the midst of a very long review series. Not really, but
not really. We never really were we?
No, we never were. It was fake news.
So
the whole thing was fake.
I mean,
fake
yeah,
news.
It's important for us to say, if you're here for Black Mirror, unfortunately, we'll be taking a few months break because we alternate between Black Mirror and season of Survivor. So we'll be watching Survivor Cook Islands the next few months, and we'll be back for Black Mirror.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that very much, though. So, yeah.
But yeah, it's just awkward timing. It would have been nice to be able to like go on while it's coming out, season 6. But at the very least, I mean, if we do reactions to that, then it'll be my first time watching them too. I mean, we can both go into them fresh.
Yeah, that'll be good, untainted, so as it were. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank you for joining us for the episodes. If you have been, and if you're new, there's a playlist with all of them. Go enjoy whatever ones you'd like. And,
we reviewed them all, so reacted to them all too.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I still go back and watch some of our older ones too, just like every now and then. Look at like a Black Mirror reaction. And like even our lower episodes, we always have a fun time. We'll have some fun with it. Like Waldo moment and Men Against Fire.
Men Against Fire was some of the most
fun to watch.
Yeah, we were laughing the whole time. That's not like a silly episode either, but we couldn't take it seriously. So yeah, it was good times. Good times for sure.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
In the meantime, what video would you recommend our viewers watch next?
I would recommend that they go check out our review of The Haunting of Hill House.
The Haunting of Hill House, yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Like the video, leave a comment, and if you do, we'll be sure to read it on the next episode of the Tarqaron podcasts. All right, hit the notification bell and click the link in the description for our social media. All right.
All right.
Yeah.